Ladies and gentlemen, all of you listening right now, you're back for another episode of Uncut Jams. Gotta make that cash. If you've been really watching my content, you know that's from me making picks and doing okay sometimes. Super Bowl just passed. I wish I was trying to think if there's a way that we could record and have them be released where everything's not a week late, but I don't even think our schedules would line up to do that.
What do you mean?
Okay, right now we record on Wednesdays and we release episodes the following Tuesday. So
yes,
I gave my hot takes came out for the Grammy a week late. If I give a take on what happened,
but you know what's interesting?
Also going to be a week late.
I was recording with Jared yesterday.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, like I thought you guys recorded that on Monday."
But he's probably not realizing. He probably thought we were talking about the Super Bowl and stuff.
I know.
Everyone was.
Yeah.
So it was still a good time to drop a Kendrick clip. And even people in the comment sections of me talking about the Grammys, one guy brought up like, oh, but Serena Williams crip walked at the halftime show and her sister was killed by Crips. I know her sister was killed by Crips, and that is a devastatingly sad thing, but she's been crip walking her whole life.
Yeah, I think also one of the reasons why she crip walked is because she got a fine for crip walking at a tennis match.
At Wimbledon. And it was really cool when she did it. She did it at Wimbledon in like 13 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. Like, all of a sudden, people are mad.
No, anyone that's mad about it is either just really sticking up for Drake or doesn't know how to dance.
Yes.
That's what I think. I don't... All the people that I saw going, oh, but her sister was killed by Crips. It's like, you don't know how to crip walk.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. If you knew how to crip walk, you would be doing it at your sister's funeral. Being able to do the crip walk, if I could do the crip walk, I would be doing it often. I would be you put me at the Super Bowl halftime show, I'm going to do the crip walk.
Yeah, I mean, that is the place to do it.
Yeah, or like, I'd probably crip walk on and off of stage when people introduce me.
I do it sometimes. Shows. I crip walk sometimes.
Do you know how to do a good crip walk?
I could do I could do like a good 5 to 10 seconds. That's all you need.
Can we cut to you doing a crip walk, or is it going to be that's too much edit? Oh yeah, this is Uncut Jams.
Uncut, yeah.
Uncut Jams. We're here. We're live.
Shut up, bitch.
I thought her crip walk was cool.
Yeah.
I know these thoughts on the Super Bowl are going to be a week late. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in anyways. But there is no way that we can make this. Nah. Because we'd have to probably record on like a Sunday to make it.
Well, it depends what news we want to catch.
I don't know. Whatever.
You never know what day, is going to some news.
Fair.
I mean, most of the time it's been on Sundays, but that's because when we started recording, it's been Grammys, Super Bowl.
Yeah. A lot of big things happen on Sundays. But then I guess if we recorded on Sunday, we still would be done before all that stuff happened. And it would still be a week late.
Yeah, and also because we are sticking to a schedule. So either way, we're going to be a week late.
Yeah.
If we're just dropping as soon as the episode's done, then maybe it'll be timely and topical.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll keep all that in mind. I was just thinking about how we could move the schedule. And this is not a conversation to be had on the show. So
Shut up, bitch.
that's to me. Also, from our friend of the show, Juicy J.
Yeah, friend of the show.
And one day, friend of the show, The Rock. I actually have a tattoo inspired by The Rock.
Really?
I have the same Rock's chest tattoo that goes onto my shoulder. So I went. Obviously, I was a big fan of The Rock.
You have a tribal
I have a tribal.
That's crazy.
I have a tribal. I went. Okay, so I was a big fan of The Rock growing up. I had his book. Never read it. Don't know how to read. Famously, don't know how to read. You guys all know about this shit. But I had his book. I was a big fan of The Rock. He was probably my favorite wrestler. I grew to appreciate Stone Cold more when I got older. It's hard to choose between those two looking back. But in the heat of the moment, I was a big Rock guy.
Okay.
And definitely liked this tattoo. And I didn't go into the tattoo artist and be like, give me a Polynesian thing, the same Polynesian tribal, the same that The Rock has in the same placement. I did want the same placement, but what I asked him for was I asked if we can do Celtic
okay.
art.
Yeah, Celtic tribal.
Celtic tribal.
Yeah.
And he went to try and design it, and he's like, all of Celtic tribal is so shapes, triangles, circles. It's not really the same way you can line up on a chess piece.
Like Polynesian tribal is like flames. You
Not
know,
really.
there's the way it blends.
The way it
in.
moves.
Yeah.
You can make it feel like a shield or whatever.
Yeah.
To your chest. Anyways, so then he's like, I think you might just have to go Polynesian tribal. And I don't know if you guys have ever got tattoos out there, but sometimes a tattoo artist will just convince you to do something that you didn't go in there for. And now I have like this massive The Rock tattoo. I love my tattoo artist. He's giving me a lot of sick tattoos. I'm not gonna shame the guy, but this one, it's not that it's a bad tattoo, but it's something I look back on and I'm like, if I ever ran into a real tribal chief. And they're like, "Did you get that one etched in the way you're supposed to?" Because real Polynesian
style.
Yeah, Tabori style. I just got it done with the tattoo gun, and I think they'd be like, they wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
I think if I went to Hawaii,
But
they would look
honestly,
down on
people have been getting tribal tattoos for a long time, like with the tattoo gun.
Right.
So I don't.
I know, but one day I'm gonna meet The Rock, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, Rock,
I gotta come clean on.
I gotta tell you, I got this tattoo inspired by." I think he would laugh at it. I think he would laugh at it.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would think it was cool. I don't think he'd say that's sick. I think he'd be like, "That's hilarious. You're a loser." And it's such a big thing. I can't turn it into anything else.
You can't do like a cover up.
No.
I
want to like pull it out right now and show the viewers at home, but I think it would be too much effort to get 2 layers of clothes off right now just to show you my chest. It's a big tattoo. It's a big and it's bold, like, because it's very like dark, right? So, yeah, I don't even know why. Why did I bring that up?
Something about The Rock, tattoos, tribal.
I don't know. I forget what the whole point of bringing that up. I got a tattoo that I just got a tattoo that it's not that I regret the tattoo, but because it's so big, I wish I probably got like four small tattoos instead of one giant one that looks like I'm trying to be The Rock.
Yeah.
Like a fat white rock. I would never get in the bloodline.
No.
But I will acknowledge. I'll acknowledge. The Rock is my true tribal chief.
Yeah, but he was never actually the tribal chief, was he?
No, but mine. If my tribe, it's me, it's The Rock, it's Mankind, Mr. Sacco.
What happened to Stone Cold? He's not.
He wouldn't. They were never like a team. I'm saying like he would never acknowledge The Rock as his chief. Mankind would. Mankind was like he looked at The Rock like, I want to be your friend. The Rock and Saw connection. I don't know if you missed it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, The Rock. There was Mankind and The Rock and Saw connection. They were having a good time.
Sick.
But speaking of fights, before we came in today, and the reason I'm wearing a hat, big snowstorm going on outside, and there's a blizzard of emotions going on outside too, because when I was on my way into my building, somebody else that lives here told me that just around the corner from us, I won't name the location, but they were filming something, and when people are filming, the cops have to like block off a street every once in a while, and I guess a guy was in a rush to go somewhere, and he wasn't happy with getting stopped, and he ended up getting out of his car and fighting 2 cops, and both the cops are in the hospital. He went to jail, but like this guy did some damage, yo.
Yeah.
So shout out to that guy.
Shout out to him.
Like
Big ups.
Sometimes you're late for work and you just can't let anything stop you. And it's like, if you've been late to work enough times and your boss is like, I'm not going to accept any excuse. Sometimes you just got, like, you could say, a cop pulled me over, and the cop's going to, the boss is going to say, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Yeah,
but if
sure.
you're like, I fought 2 cops, read about it in the newspaper, then it's a good excuse.
Yeah.
You might get fired
You
anyways.
still might get fired, but you also get street cred, so.
Depending on your boss's feelings on cops, he might be like, you're getting a raise.
Yeah. I wonder what his job was. What if he was also like some sort of like cop or something? You know what I mean? Like just different precinct or whatever.
Yeah. Well, then they probably wouldn't fight. If he just said, I'm a cop from, they respect that a little bit, I think.
Maybe.
Have you ever given an excuse to be late for work that was not true?
And have rarely been late.
Okay.
Even today, I was like, I was late today, but I was like.
No, you weren't late. You said you were going to be late and you were on time. You were a minute early. I'm
that's
like, what?
Late, that's late to me.
Yeah. You're such a, one of those, some people say, oh, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late.
Yeah.
That's how you are.
I'm more of a 15 minutes early kind of guy.
Right. So if you're not going to be 15 minutes early, you're like, I'm going to be late. And by that, I mean, I'm going to be right on time.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And if I'm actually late, then, something terrible happened.
Fair. I one time I was going to a job where I just didn't feel like going to work that day. And I told them that I got hit by a car on the way to work.
Damn.
Like I made my excuse really above and beyond. I was working at this handicap camp at the time. And the next day I went to work and I showed up in bandages.
And
I
a
said
neck brace.
not a neck brace. I said I dislocated my shoulder and I had my shoulder all bandaged up. And that job I didn't last too long at, but it wasn't like I got fired or anything. I just like, I liked working with the kids and everything, but I don't think I was cut out for it. Like everyone was like a really good person there, and I was just like a mid person, you know?
Yeah, I show up to work injured or sick. I'm one of those people.
Nice.
Like I showed up to work once with like a crazy like stomach flu. And then I'm like, I gotta take some time off. I gotta go to the washroom. I was in there for like an hour just dying. And my manager's like, go home.
I broke my pinky at a job where it's a job where I can't get workers' comp because I work for my friend doing some labor. And if I was working for a big company, I would get workers' comp. I'd probably sue the house that we were at. When I got the injury, the first thing the people ran out, they said, please don't sue us, please don't sue us. Broke my pinky. And I couldn't even take time off work, so I just had to work with a broken pinky for like 2 months. And doing like stuff where you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Like the doctor's like, rest your finger. I'm like, how do I do that when I work hard labor? That's not gonna work.
No.
Anyways, so this guy fought 2 cops, got arrested. You were about to tell me, and I said save it for the show because I want to hear about this.
Yes.
Was in Portland they have like street justice rules.
They have mutual combat laws. So
Yeah.
if 2 people agree to fight, you can fight. And I used to watch as a guy on YouTube that would dress up in a superhero costume and then get into fights with people that were like drunk. But he was actually like an amateur MMA fighter, so it wasn't like a fair fight.
Damn.
But he would just beat the shit out of people and then post it on his YouTube. It was like, it's mutual combat. Like the cops would have to be like, no. They agreed to this duel, and then he would just stick them with the jab and kick the legs out.
What if you're getting beat up and you're like, I take it back, I don't agree anymore? It's like, it's too late. You already signed your. You can't. Can you at least say mercy? Can you tap out?
Yeah. If you tap out or whatever, then it's done. But they have laws where like if you agree to fight someone, like the cops can't interfere. Okay. So this guy was like, I wouldn't say he was like a bouncer, but he would like go between the clubs. Like he would go to like, the club area of Portland, and if someone was being rowdy, he would show up in his like superhero costume, like Kick-Ass or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And then he'd be like, all right, well, let's fight then. Like, you don't want to leave. Like, I challenge you.
He had an original, so he'd be bouncing, and then he goes switches into the costume in like a phone booth. He actually turns into the superhero.
No, but like imagine like a bouncer, like this guy's being unruly.
Yeah.
And they call the guy.
Oh my god,
that's Batman.
That is a bouncer's dream to be the. Because bouncers want to fuck you up sometimes.
They do want to fuck you up.
Huh? If he just goes to the bathroom, comes out dressed as a superhero. It's like, I know that's still you, the same body shape. And he's just like, oh, let's fight now. I'm like, I don't want to fight you.
Yeah.
One time my friend was getting roughed up by a bouncer, and I tried to help him. And there was like 3-on-1. I tried to grab one of the guys, and then another bouncer just came, picked me up like I was a bag of bread, and just threw me to the side. I was like, holy shit, I never felt like such a bitch.
Yeah. I remember I was at this one club, and this one bouncer was like so ready to fight. I'm like, dude, like, I just want to grab my jacket. And then he's like trying to be all tough. He's like, well, I said no. I'm like, dude, my jacket's right there. Let me grab it. I'm trying to leave. He's like, fuck you, dude. What I say goes. I'm like, dog, just let me get my fucking jacket, dude. You know what I mean? And I don't know. They're just so ready to fight.
One time I was in a club, and they had like the lower floor where the party was going on, and then upstairs where I guess like normally they have booths, but it was a little quiet that night. And me and this girl went upstairs, and we were trying to like fuck in the booth, and she was on top of me, and whatever, grinding on me. But like dick was out, but it wasn't inside yet. We were just like teasing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Bouncer came, grabbed me like tore us up, whatever. Grabbed me by like the scruff of my neck, and he's like walking me downstairs, and he's like, "Don't ever come back here again." I'm like, "What the hell?" Well, I wasn't trying to like shoot up the club. I was trying to, unless you're talking about her pussy, shoot up that club. The fact that he was like so aggravated about it, like, don't ever come back here again. You tried to have sex in my club. It's like, relax, buddy. There's worse. That's not a crime. It's a crime of passion, maybe.
That's a crime of love.
Crime of love. When you said the guy's dressing up as a superhero, he dressed up as his own original superhero.
Yeah, like he had a name. I forget what it was, but like if his videos are still probably on YouTube. But like, yeah, he had like custom suit, like everything had the fake abs.
Oh wow.
So
there's one guy that went to my high school who now dresses up as Spider-Man.
Okay.
Not in a great way, more in like he's probably done a lot of crack and now thinks he's Spider-Man and like hangs out on top of buildings sometimes, looks down on people. Sometimes he's just walking around dancing. He likes to dance as Spider-Man a lot. You'll find him in Kensington Market quite a bit. But he has a daughter, and one time, well, actually, he does have a daughter, but he didn't even go to her school. It was like he just thought it would be nice for him to go to a kid's school and entertain them as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he went, and some of the parents started going to the teachers like, who's this guy? Who hired Spider-Man? And they go, we didn't hire Spider-Man.
That's crazy.
So they called the cops. And then I think he I don't know if he tried to fight the cops, but he got roughed up by the cops a little bit.
He couldn't even beat up the cops as Spider-Man.
He didn't have the great power or the great. He was being irresponsible and powerless. He didn't even go to his own kid's school. That's the crazy part. That he just went to a random.
Well, I think they would have recognized him.
He'd have a mask on.
Yeah, but like you don't think like they've seen him in the Spider-Man costume before.
I don't know. Either way, it was a wild move for him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was on like Instagram later that day, being like, "Oh, I was just trying to be nice and bring joy to the world." The other funny thing about this guy is, most of high school he just had straight like Canadian accent, right? His parents were from Grenada or something like that.
Okay,
somewhere in the West Indies or Caribbean, and he went on a trip for like 2 months. Came back with an accent, never lost the accent.
That kind of makes sense, though. I can understand that.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's rough. Like, it's like, especially, are his parents Grenadian?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he probably hears it a lot. But then when you go somewhere, like, I know that when I, like, go to Jamaica for, like, 2-3 weeks,
yeah,
it like, creeps in. And then, like, my Jamaican accent stays, like, at, like, 1% always. But if you go there for like 2 months and, you start talking language, and then people respond to you and that, it kind of just becomes habit.
So before you go to Jamaica, let's say you're going to say hi to a girl in Canada. Before you go to Jamaica, how do you introduce yourself to a girl?
I say Wagwan.
You already do that. Wagwan Empress.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see the difference, but either way, it's Wagwan. Yeah. Wagwan with the Wagwan, baby.
Wagwan. Wagwan shorty.
That's the Toronto slang.
No, I don't do that.
But I guess people do just, an accent is like cooler, so, like depending on where it is. Like I don't think people go to India and they're like, let me come back with my Indian accent to get pussy, right? But you go to Jamaica, you come back with a little Jamaican accent, it's probably going to help you a little bit. I've seen guys go to England, come back with a little English accent, because it is like, it gives you a little swag. It's a little more
It does, yeah.
For some reason, there was a time where on TV, reality TV, it just became a thing like, let British guys be mean to us. Like in America. Like they'd have Simon Cowell on American Idol. What a hit.
Oh, okay.
He's so mean, and he does it in a British accent.
True.
And then to follow that up, they're like, how about we do it in a kitchen? Gordon Ramsay. He's so mean. Let's have him yell at people. Shut up, you idiot. You know?
Yeah.
You don't know how to make shit. What is that?
I think it's because they do, especially in America, they do see like the British as like, like a little bit above them, even though they don't claim it. Like that's why they get them to like do all the commercials for all the important stuff. Because like, oh, I'm a Brit. Like they have that kind of respect to it. So maybe if it's like if you're in a kitchen and a British guy's yelling at you, you're more likely to listen to his words. I don't know, but
I don't know. Do you respect the British accent?
No.
Yeah, I maybe like I was brainwashed against British people, but like my granny definitely wasn't a fan. I love the Irish accent. You can call me an asshole in an Irish accent, and I'll think it's charming. Yeah. But I remember when I was in grade 11 or 12, I had a British teacher teaching English. How ironic.
Yeah.
Is that ironic?
No, but it's kind of funny in Canada.
It's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Ironic would be somebody that didn't learn English at all is teaching English. Somebody that spoke French. I had a French teacher. She taught me English.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a British teacher that taught me French.
Yeah.
That's ironic.
Yes.
This is just a coincidence. Anyways, he was an asshole, but people loved him. Like some people favorite teacher. But he was like mean in the British way. And I can't read. So I'm in English class, not doing well. And he told me You better get used to saying, "Do you want fries with that?"
Ooh.
Yeah. So then I never worked in fast food or a restaurant because of that comment. I'm like, I can never
Yeah.
work at a
No,
McDonald's
I
now.
know a few teachers that were saying that. Like, our teachers that were in the auto body class and stuff like that, they were notorious for they're like, I'm gonna be the guy that goes to your McDonald's when you're working at McDonald's and asking for a Big Mac. There's two people in this world. There's people that put the Big Macs in the bag, and there's people that buy the Big Macs.
Yeah. I'm definitely one that buys the Big Macs. Have you ever worked at a fast food place?
No, I never worked in any food industry.
And is it because you heard comments like that?
No, it's because I have a lot of allergies.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair. I never have, but they make it not like McDonald's, but like real chef stuff, like in Hell's Kitchen or on like The Bear. They make it seem like a very like high intense
Yeah.
situation where people are yelling at each other all the time, and I don't know if that's.
I feel like it would be though, because think of it, like when you go to a restaurant, you want your food quick. So if you want your food quick and you're the chef and there's like 20 other dishes you have to make and one guy's just slacking off, it's going to get tense.
Yeah, if one guy's slacking off, sometimes okay. So Hell's Kitchen, I would like to go to when they're actually like filming an episode. My friend went to one recently. That's why it's on my mind right now. And I asked like, were they yelling at people in the kitchen? And she's like, no, I wish. Like it was just like a regular like it was a fancy dinner.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're like yelling at each other unless the big show's going on. But if I was there and I hear the chef going like, this meat's not even cooked. You're going to kill someone. And I'm like putting the meat in my mouth at the same time. Like I just hear that in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would make me enjoy my meal more. Like I would be entertained.
Maybe
but I would be like,
on which restaurant. If it's in the Hell's Kitchen restaurant, then
yeah,
that's cool. But any other restaurant, you're like, it's sus.
Yeah. That doesn't make me have more confidence in the kitchen just because the head chef's yelling at someone how they're horrible at being a chef. There's a new documentary or a series. Vice does like Dark Side of the Ring. They've done Dark Side of Comedy, and they did one now Dark Side of Reality TV. Now I've watched a lot of Dark Side of the Ring, and I've watched a good handful of Dark Side of Comedy, and I will say it doesn't get darker than the Dark Side of the Ring. Dark Side of Comedy is like, oh, this guy, he started calling women a whore and making fun of gay people for a year. Oh, it's so dark. In WWE, there's like murders and rapes going on like often. Like not WWE, but wrestling as a whole. Like there's a lot.
Yep.
There's a lot of darkness in it. Now, Dark Side of Reality, I watched a couple episodes, and I watched the one on Hell's Kitchen, and I didn't know that Gordon Ramsay was actually on TV before as like a chef on the come up. There was this guy named Marco Pierre, and he's apparently the original bad boy chef. This is who, in The Bear, Jeremy Allen White, the star of The Bear, he looked at this guy. He read this guy's book and like looked at his look, like long hair.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna be like Marco Pierre. So Gordon Ramsay trained under him. So I don't know if Gordon Ramsay just kind of like ripped off another guy's style, or are all chefs yelling at each other and that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't really get it.
I personally haven't seen it in real life, so I don't know.
I haven't seen it. We got to get a chef on the show. I got to talk to a chef. I have friends that are chefs. I got to ask them. There was one guy that used to come to my gym that was in a wheelchair and like a great chef and really confident for a guy in a wheelchair. like annoyingly arrogantly confident. Like I'm like, good for you and everything, but like let's still be humble a little bit. Like there's guys with legs that can do everything that you're doing and they're not that cocky. Like you know how there's like short man complex? This guy had like no leg complex. He's so short because he's sitting down all the time that he's like, I have to be incredibly confident.
Did he have like a pimped out wheelchair or anything like that?
Yeah, he had spinners on the wheelchair. He had hydraulics.
No, but if it was just a regular wheelchair, like
I'm pretty sure he had a sweet car too. And this guy,
Really?
he's rich and he's doing very well. So like, good for you.
maybe is it because how he got in the wheelchair, or was he always in a wheelchair? Like, did he get put in a wheelchair and then he became rich and then he's like,
Yeah, that's a good question. Because if he got put in a wheelchair and then he just overcame all the odds and he's like, but the thing is, like, if you overcome the odds, you should be a little humble. So I feel like he was rich already. If I had to guess.
I
Maybe
don't know.
rich.
If you get put in a wheelchair and you get money. Like, say some like truck hits you,
Right.
and then you win like $10 million.
Okay.
You're up, dude.
Yeah.
But you're in a wheelchair, but you're up.
Yeah. Well,
And then at that point, you're pissed at the world. So, but you have $10 million.
Yep. Sometimes you get riches and it's not worth it, you know. But sometimes it is. This guy, I think, if that's what happened to him, he definitely made the best out of it. If he got millions of dollars and he opened his own restaurant and became like a great chef and drives a nice car and brags about it to guys working the front desk at LA Fitness, like that's sick for him. That's really good for him. What I was gonna say about the chefs yelling and stuff in that. Have you ever trained like a martial art?
A few.
So in this, when they were talking about Hell's Kitchen in that documentary, one of the girls says like, a lot of people, you know, are mad at the way he's yelling at them, but if you learn karate, it's not like your karate teacher's a bully, but he has to beat you up.
Yep.
So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, but a chef has to beat it. Like, there's something psychological with being a chef that you have to be beaten down to the point where, like, you're as close to perfect as you can be.
Yes.
Like before we started the show, I said it's gonna be perfect, and you said we can't be. Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you're not a head chef. If you were a head chef of producers, you'd be telling me what a shit job I'm doing every time I mumble. That'd be a crazy relationship for the host and producer to have if a producer was like the Gordon Ramsay of producers.
Oh, yeah, but then that would ruin the show.
Yeah, I think it would ruin the show.
So that would be a terrible producer.
Yeah, it would be. Even though sometimes I like, I'm not asking you to yell at me, but there is like, I think there's a guy named C.T. Fletcher.
Yes. Oh, I love CT. I have his words in my mind all the time. I grew up watching a bunch of CT Fletcher.
What are his words?
I command you to grow.
I command you to go.
Stop
it's your
being-
set, motherfucker.
Yeah, still your set.
Yeah.
When I walk, I want to be a sidewalk cracking motherfucker. There's other one.
One where he's motivating like a fat person to work out. He's like, "You cupcake eating motherfucker." That kind of stuff. Like, I'll watch that if I haven't been to the gym in a while, which is like all the time.
Yeah.
And
It's
sometimes
funny
it'll
because
fire
now
me
my
up to go.
algorithm's like, here's some CT Fletcher videos. I'm like, damn, I should probably go in the gym.
Now it is, or because
Like recently, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like within the last like 2 weeks. So it's funny that you bring them up.
Yeah, I just in terms of a guy that yells at you to motivate you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the Andy Elliott guy that I've been talking about on a previous episode, where he tells people like, if you don't have a six pack, you can't sell shit, right?
Yeah.
He had one recent post now where a guy comes and he's in decent shape, and Andy's like, "Let's shave his head. Let's shave his head." I'm like, "What the hell?" So I commented, I'm like, "Andy, don't tell me you have to be bald now to sell too."
Did you respond?
He did respond. He's like, "It's a culture." What did he for? He liked it. He thought it was funny. Let me see what he said. Andy Elliott. We got to get him on the show. Andy Elliott's another dream guest. I just want him to come and just inspire me. I'll probably get so ripped if we have Andy Elliott on the show. Okay. I said, oh, wait, here it is. He said, "It's the way." I said, "Don't tell me we got to be bald
What is
to
this
make
guy?
sales now,
Freaking
too."
Mandalorian?
It is the
Is
way.
this the way?
And laughing face. On that dark, okay, so dark side of reality TV. What I was saying, WWE, dark side of wrestling, very dark. Dark side of comedy, not that dark. Dark side of reality, also not that dark, but it's an entertaining show. You should check it out. They have one on Extreme Home Makeovers, which
Oh, yeah.
I never really watched it.
I watched a lot of that.
I didn't watch it much. One of my friends, Dave Luca, has a great joke about how it was an intense show for kids because
Yep.
kids had to make this decision, and he's just like, you go see Dave Luca live to hear him do the joke about what an effect that would have on a kid's life. You know what I mean? Well, your whole life is pirates now. You know that's.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the show, but I always thought that joke was funny. But now I watched the episode, and not only like did they do that to kids, like people's lives got ruined over that show.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like that. Like it always just seemed like a positive thing. Like I was watching it, and there's one family. There's a couple families who got financially crippled from it because they made the house so big.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't afford to keep up with taxes, bills, all this stuff. But there was one family that didn't even ask to have their place renovated. What happened was the little girl had cancer. Little girl had cancer, and in the cancer ward, it was like very like boring walls, like very like dreary. And they made a video being like, I would like to renovate our cancer ward and paint the walls and make it nice. So they answered, and they came. And while they were at the cancer ward painting, they bulldozed their house and they made a mansion that they didn't even ask for.
Crazy.
And they made this family's mansion so big and cost so much that their first like electrical bill was $2,200, which was more than any mortgage bill they ever paid.
Yeah.
They're like, and they were already in tight circumstances. They have a daughter that has cancer. They're in America. They're not in Canada. This isn't free healthcare. They're living on the very edge of their means.
Yes.
And Extreme Home Makeover didn't even consider that what they're doing is going to ruin this family's life with cancer.
Yeah.
They had a kid with cancer. Like, this is the worst thing that ever happened to us. And they have an 8-year-old that's about to die of cancer. That's how bad of a situation Extreme Home Makeover put them in.
Yeah.
But even they said, when they move that bus, it's a feeling they'll never forget.
Yeah, because they're like, you were fucked.
No. Like, all the bad stuff happened after, and it's like all that sucked for them. But everyone on the show, everyone on that dark side of Extreme Home Makeover is like, there's families that got ruined. There's families that were torn apart, like financially. But they were all like, man, when they moved that bus, it was fucking sick.
It was sick.
When they moved that bus, I'll never forget it. Like, and also, can I also add that little girl with cancer? She had a 1 in 8 chance of living. She lived.
Sick.
She's alive. She's in the documentary talking about it.
Dang.
She's like, I didn't ask for any of this. This house was massive. Like, it was cool when
So
I
then how
walked
did
in.
they scrape by? Like, what ended up happening? Like, did they
it gets
sell
worse.
the house?
It gets worse. Did they sell the house? Great question. So they got to the point where they had to take out like so many loans and credit loans, but because they had such a big house, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
They had like $200,000 in like credit loans just to pay back like their electrical bill.
Mm-hmm.
And also people kept breaking into their house because they thought they were rich and they saw them on the show and wanted to, or they saw them on the show and wanted to steal stuff. So the little girl's like, I'm dying of cancer. I'm walking in my door to go to an appointment at like 5 a.m. and there's just a man in the front holding a hammer, and I just screamed. It was scary. So they're in this horrible situation. They're racking up credit debt. So it gets to the point where like, okay, we got to sell the house. But unfortunately, it was 2008 and the housing crisis hit.
Just collapse.
And they lived in Arizona, who put a state mandate that no one can sell a house for over $500,000. And their house was worth $1.5 million, maybe $2 million. So they couldn't even sell the house. So they're imprisoned by Extreme Home Makeover ruined their life. But their child did live, and that's the important part.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so like Extreme Home Makeover, they would actually look for the saddest situations.
Yeah, because that does the best on TV.
Nuts.
And then they don't really care about what happens afterwards. Because once they move the bus, that's the end of the episode. You know what I mean?
It's the most expensive production that's ever a TV show for any reality TV show, because they would build houses in 7 days. They would cut.
I forgot about that part. Yeah, they would like go to Disneyland for 7 days, and then they would pay for them to be in Disneyland.
Yeah,
you know, for 7 days, which is already mad expensive.
Right. They would cut costs because they would get all these branding deals, like Sears beds, like all this stuff. So they would save money that way. But yeah, they would do 7 days, build a house. They'd have 2 days off, and then they go do another family. Like, they weren't checking in on the family in a month. When that family's first bills come, it was a sad time a lot of times. There was one family that I guess these kids' parents died. So another, I don't know if it was an uncle or just like a family friend, took them in. And one of Extreme Home Makeovers, one of the things they did was they bought all the kids' cars. And then when they were like having like the wrap up for the show and like talking with producers, the dad of the family was like in one of the little girls' ears being like, tell them you're going to trade your car in because I need a truck. And I took you guys in. I deserve a truck. So then it just created like this family strife. Mm-hmm. And they said they never had the same relationship with the guy that took them in again. Like, it was all nice up until Extreme Home Makeover came in and put these things in front of their face that made people resenting other people. And so sometimes it's not good to win money.
Yeah.
Even if you do end up in a wheelchair and become a Michelin chef. It's not, the grass ain't always greener on the other side of the Extreme Home Makeover.
No, the grass is always greener on the other side of that bus.
Some of the grass is soiled on the other side of that bus. What a great feeling, though, move that bus.
Yeah. I used to watch that show, like, we used to watch it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy, you know. And then I remember one time they like put like an elevator in a house, and then like it's just like a 2-floor house. So
Yeah.
there's an elevator in there.
Some of the stuff would be very hard to resell. Like one girl got in a horrible accident, so she needed to do like rehab, and part of the rehab was swimming in a lap pool. So they put a lap pool upstairs. And as convenient as that is, it's going to be making the sell of the house so inconvenient.
Yeah.
The girl would probably be rehabbing for maybe a year,
Yeah.
not her whole life. So she doesn't need a lap pool for life.
No.
Just drive 15 minutes to the lap pool. Extreme Home Makeover was crazy.
Did they do an episode on Pimp My Ride?
I didn't see one, but that's another thing where they put crazy things in there.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's some videos on YouTube where you can see like, where's this car like 10 years later? Gone.
There was one I remember. Like, this girl's a nurse. We're gonna give her a CTE machine. No, was it? What do you call it when you?
A defibrillator?
No. The one where you actually go in your whole body.
A CAT scan machine?
CAT scan machine.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How'd that? No way they put that in a car.
Put it in the back. You can give CAT scans wherever you want now. MRIs, X-rays.
Yeah. She has cancer now.
Yeah, just from driving with that in the back seat. Yeah, Pimp My Ride. What would I want? Like, okay, so I guess they would look at my life and they'd be like, you do comedy.
Yeah.
We put a comedy club in your truck. They give me a stage and a mic back there. Honestly, I'd use it.
That would work, you know, like it's like a rollout stage and then a mic.
Yeah.
And then obviously you open up the trunk. It's a butterfly trunk. Now there's 2 speakers on each side.
Yep.
You're good.
Yeah. Spotlight.
Anywhere is an open mic.
Spotlight comes out, faces down, and goes ceiling. I could have used that during the pandemic. Would have been a hit.
Yeah.
Exhibit.
Yeah.
X to the Z exhibit.
X to the Z.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember more Pimp My Rides ones that were just ridiculous because they had some insane.
They had one.
Look up the craziest Pimp My Rides.
I remember they had one. They're like, this guy likes to skateboard, and they put like a ramp in the back of his car.
Right.
Crazy.
I wonder if anyone kept their car.
I would keep it just as like a
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you have to keep it, but because what are you gonna do? You can't resell it. It'd be another thing that's really really hard to resell. It's like I don't want to give CAT scans in
Oh
my
my
backseat.
goodness! I think I see the CAT scan one. Yeah, there's literally a CAT scan one. That's the first one they show.
Classic.
Barbecue coffin. Mud flaps with LCD monitors.
Damn.
A chandelier. I remember the chandelier.
Mud
one.
flaps with LCD monitors. So who's that for? Like for the people behind you to look at?
I don't know.
What the hell?
Chocolate fountain. Sistine Chapel roof.
That's kind of cool. I'm not mad at that. Sistine Chapel roof?
That was pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yoga studio. A juicer.
Yoga studio?
Yeah.
It was in a pickup truck or something?
Something.
How would that even work? What the hell? I guess. Is that a yoga studio? It just
You could just sit in lotus. That's about it.
Yeah,
Just
do
a wood floor.
downward facing dog, maybe. Child's pose for sure.
Popcorn popper, fish tank, hot tub. They put a man cave.
Insane.
Tire dusting system, terrarium.
A hot tub would be cool in theory, but like hot tub, chocolate fountain, all these things would cause a big mess in the car too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Imagine getting into an accident with a chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
That's it. You'd need the mud flaps. You need the LCD mud flaps for that.
Mud flaps.
Well, I think we're almost time to go, but we while you're on the computer, I guess we should get another animal fact of the day. We kept getting copyright stricken from using the Lion King sound effect, so I've created a new sound effect to introduce to you our weekly segment, the animal fact of the day. Can you name all those animals, Dante?
I hear an elephant.
Yep, definitely.
Go again. There's a hawk. Maybe a lion.
Yep.
Keep going. And a cow.
Close. Okay, so you got the lion, you got the elephant. There's a eagle, not a hawk. Close enough.
That's not what an eagle sounds like.
That's literally an eagle sound. It's an eagle sound effect. If you if you YouTube eagle sound effect.
Yeah, but do you know what an eagle actually sounds like? I'll play an eagle sound effect for you.
And it wasn't a cow, it was a bull. And there was also a gorilla in there.
Okay.
Okay. Let's hear your eagle.
Am I connected?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta search it up.
Oh. Well, in the meantime, I'll say, whoa. That's a raptor.
No, that's what an eagle sounds like.
They make a couple different noises. Is this an like? Do you have a video of an eagle?
Yeah, a bald eagle call.
Yeah, mine looked the same way. So what's up?
Yeah, but that's not the sound that's playing.
Okay, either way, let's get into our animal fun fact of the day.
Animal
Brought
fun
to you by yahoo.com. Yahoo.com. Enter anything you like to search on yahoo.com.
Okay.
They'll have something almost as good as Google will give you.
Koala fingerprints are so close to humans that they could taint crime scenes.
Nice. And they got chlamydia. So they could taint another crime scene. A sexually transmitted one. Koalas, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they all have chlamydia because they fuck a lot or because they're fingering humans maybe. I don't know. I was trying to think of how to tie that in with their fingerprints. I never really examined my fingerprints too much, but I guess they look like koalas ones.
Yeah, but a koala finger would be so small.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So they could obviously tell by the size of it. Maybe like this is a child committed this crime.
Right. Yeah. There's if you're investigating a baby crime, you have to talk to a couple koalas to find out if it was them or not.
Yeah.
I guess we learned something today about koalas having very similar fingerprints to humans. Do you know who the closest animal is to a human overall? As in like their brain and the way they act?
No.
Orangutans. And that was another animal fun fact of the day. Let me know if you guys like the new sound effect. If you miss the Lion King one, then I need you to send me $100 to helpjamout@gmail.com so we can fight copyright strikes. It starts with you guys at home. And now, before we go, a little word from God. We're going to open up the Bible and see what God has in store for us today. Oh, duties towards parents. And you know what? Interesting. We're coming off the heels of Family Weekend, which is this weekend, which when you listen to this episode, it just passed. So I hope you saw your parents. And if they're dead, I hope you remember them fondly. And if they sucked, well, then I hope you create your own family that your children can respect you. And if you don't want to have kids, then just have a good day. Anyways, that's not in the Bible, but this is: children, pay heed to a father's right. Do so that you may live. For the Lord set a father in honor over his children, a mother's authority he confirms over her sons. He who honors his father atones for his sins. He stones up riches who reveres his mother. Okay, so if you honor your dad, you're pretty much being like, my bad. Hey, you're atoning for your sins. All the bad shit you did, if you at least honor your dad, you're atoning in this verse.
Okay.
And if you revere your mother,
wait, which father though? Are they talking about your actual father, or your father, the Lord?
No, I think this is duties towards parents. We're talking about this is sometimes people. The Bible's written by men. Spoiler alert. And some of the stuff that they put in the Bible was just to make kids act right, to make people act right.
Yes.
10 Commandments, were they sent down from God, or were they just like, people need to do a couple of these things? And they, hey, don't fuck my wife. you know, don't. Some guy's wife was getting fucked when they came up with that. It's like when they came down and they're like, oh, did you hear God say that you guys shouldn't be fucking my wife? Yeah, I guess. Anyway, so this was probably a verse that was put in to say, okay, we also need to put something in there to make kids act right. Well, as a dad, I want to get honored, and as a mom, I want to be revered. So, like, how do we break that down into 3 sentences? And the way they did it here was to tell you that if you honor your father, we're gonna let a couple of those sins go, and if you revere your mother, you're gonna be rich. But that could be rich metaphorically. It could be rich of heart.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it is nice to show love for your parents.
Yep.
You have 2 good parents, right?
Yep.
Who was the scary parent in your household, mom or dad? If you got in trouble.
Equally scary.
Really?
Yeah.
My dad would hit me, but it wasn't scary. My mom would yell at me, and it was scary. My mom would yell at me, and I'd be like, I can't wait till my dad can just come home and hit me so that this can be over. Because she'd say, wait until your dad gets home. I'm like, I can't. In my mind, I'm like, I can't wait. I never told my parents that. That was like, oh, that was a happy outcome for me. Because, like, a couple smacks, we're good. You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was beating the shit out of me. Like, just like, oh, you pissed your mom off today? Bang, bang, bang. Go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now I can go fucking cry in the corner. But my mom would, like, yell in my face. And it'd be so, like, when I was a kid and even like in high school, like sometimes, like, I remember I went away on a trip and I told my mom I was going with my guy friend, but I actually went with girls, and my mom didn't like that at all. When the way she found out was my guy friend that was supposed to go with me, he was working at a grocery store, and my mom went to go get groceries the day before I was coming back, and she's like, Anthony, aren't you supposed to be with James?
Ooh.
And she's like, his face went white as a ghost. He was so scared. Anyway, so when I came home, I just got yelled at immediately. And I was like 19, 20 at this time. My mom would yell at me a lot, like up until like that age. Actually, my mom would yell at me a lot up until my dad cheated and left. And after he left, she chilled out. Obviously, she was sad, which it's hard to yell at someone when you're sad. You can only be so many emotions at once.
Yeah.
But I've told people this, that like my mom used to yell at me all the time, and they go, oh, maybe she was stressed out about your dad and she was taking it out on you. Maybe he was like causing her other pain before he left. So I asked my mom, I said, Mom, were you just yelling at me because like dad was pissing you off? Or is that why? And she's like, no, you were just a bad kid. She's like, me and your dad were great. Like, it was your fault. No, he left when I was growing up. But yeah, there was no psychological thing where she was taking it out on me. It was just she was legitimately mad at me for being a bad kid.
Yeah, you weren't trying to pass it off to someone else. It was
Anyways,
you.
I do revere my mom, and maybe I don't honor my dad enough. Maybe my sins haven't been atoned, but I do. I love both of them.
Yeah.
Like, I have good parents, I'd say. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there because otherwise I'm going to talk too much. But yeah, I was a bad kid. I just never sat still.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my mom's fault. Sometimes you just got to yell at your kid. If I had a kid that wouldn't sit still, I'd be like, fucking relax, yo.
Yeah.
You know? You weren't a bad kid. You were a good kid?
I'd say I was a good kid.
Like,
But I still got yelled at.
yelled at? Both would yell?
Yeah.
My dad wasn't a yeller. It was just action, you know? And I preferred it. I'm about that action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather get the action than don't talk about it, be about it, Mom. Just beat the shit out of me right now. No, my mom was fucking scary. My mom would, not that she would get violent, but like one time I remember I wouldn't leave like the Hockey Hall of Fame. We were there and I was like fucking around, and I remember she grabbed me by like the back of my shirt and like pulled me out, and I choked. That was a tough one. Anyways, that's where we're gonna leave it. Revere your mom, you'll get rich. Honor your dad. You can make a couple mistakes along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this was written by men anyways. Like, I believe in God and everything, but like when they put stuff like that in the Bible, I'm like, okay, a couple of parents had to throw that one in there. So
Yeah.
you know, when you're reading your Bible, just remember that too sometimes. That you don't have to take it all word for word. You got to find the meaning in it. And today, that was the meaning that we found in it.
Yeah.
And I hope you found some meaning in listening to this episode. And
Which I think we should also, I know we didn't do this time, but what was the actual number of that one?
oh,
It's too late
the
now.
Bible's closed. It was. I don't
Let's
know.
do it.
If I opened up to the right one again, that'd be wild. But no, just so you guys know, this is all impromptu stuff.
Yeah.
I don't pick what page I'm going to open to. If you thought all those thoughts were well thought out, you wrong. I didn't even have any NeuroGum today. Shout out to the sponsor of 2 episodes ago that didn't really sponsor us, but I tried one during the show. Today, 2 weeks ago, tried a NeuroGum. Last week, smoked weed. Today, wore a hat. Tell me what's working. We're trying it all out.
Try it out.
We're throwing shit at the wall. We're making it work. Check out the dark side of reality TV. It's a good watch. And yeah, that's it. Peace.
Peace.